I did want to be enlightened. I ran for these Puritans. I was sitting at satsang for months. There were a lot of practices and techniques, and I never thought I would do something like that. So it was like an empty sound for me, a place where you're born again and again 10,000 times and have passed all classes many times. It means that the real problem is not inside you, but some outside thing adds to the first one. A priority of your mind is less than a priority of super system, which installed the outside thing. That's why, to destroy it, you have to reach out those global structure, which is more priority in an excess level and influence on our toy. Can you say something about me? Easily. Today I'm at Valentin's house. I want to start with a general question. Who are you? I'm Valentin. I'm human. Valentin Voronin, or Swami Tian Bodhisattva, a founder of a school White Mirror, the enlightened master, master of Cosmoenergy, the master of Reiki, the practicing healer, the osteopath, the meditation teacher, and clairvoyant. In 2002, he had an experience of Satori, temporary awakening consciousness. It was the start of his sacred way. In 2009, he became a yoga teacher in that center, Shen, accepted sannyas, and got a sacred pass from Swami Govind Narayan, Malik Bharati, Nepal. In 2010, he started a healing practice, learned an osteopathy at Smirnov's classes, passed initiation Fire Flower of Light's Hand of Pakal Votan. He was dedicated in Reiki, also in 2010, and attunement to a master of Cosmoenergy. In 2010 and 2011, he visited regularly satsang of enlightened masters, Amuji, Caesar, Sumeran and Nero, visiting sacred places of India. In 2012, Valentin founded a school White Mirror. It based in Bali, Indonesia, where you can learn Cosmoenergy, Reiki, biodynamic centering. The synthesis of these practices gives a unique system of teaching of healing and opening of inner vision, diagnoses a health, heals physical and energy problems of people. They direct their students to along the way of internal growth and self-development. Also he conducts group classes and private consultation, online and offline, travels around Asia and organizes trips to places of power: Tiruvannamalai, India, Lumbini, Kathmandu, Buddhanath, Nepal, Kandy, Hikaduwa, Sri Lanka, Samui, Pangan, Thailand, Ubud, Bali, Indonesia. Actually, I don't worry about I'm light and I'm love, some present energy, that someone watches, or something like this. I really don't care, because I'm who I am. I'm okay with that. There is no even some search in this way. But you searched before. How did you look for? What did you do? I did want to become an enlightened man. I ran for these Puritans. I was sitting at satsang for months. There were a lot of practices, techniques, observations. When you're really focused on who watches, who speaks inside of me, you know? It's something like meditation or introspection. No, it's awesome. But in some point, when something touches inside you, it's quite stable. If you feel something sway inside of you, it doesn't mean that it is that very moment. That's all. What happened inside of you that you stopped to look for? I calm down, you know? How? Not everyone calms down when he's on the sacred search way. The touch doesn't occur. You mean the touch with your inner life? Well, you could say like that. But it's not exactly an inner life. It's a part of yourself in reality. Don't bother it. It's silly. If you pay attention on it and with confidence and repeat something like I'm God, I'm God, you are probably waiting for Kashenko. I don't know. I have no idea who you mean. It's the nut house. So it can lead to some mental diseases. The point is that you are in some condition of high-end consciousness, let's say. There are some changes in your endocrine system and in the whole body. It's under heavy overload. So if you are in such condition for a long time, at least it's harm for your body. I think our body is the condition of some awareness. Yeah, right. Incredible energies, the flow. It's one thing if you cannot hide something inside. It comes out. You can't do anything. But when you squeeze something out yourself, you just want to prove to everyone that you are really enlightened. You know? Can you call yourself enlightened? Well, light is shining. Let's say that. Okay, if someone wants to look for an enlightenment, I don't know, to know better himself maybe, when he comes to you asking for help, what will you do? I'll say, go to your basic techniques. It works for everyone. But I don't really like when people bow to you and blah blah blah. I had such several people, but they left me themselves. Thanks God. I see the simpler a person is in his behavior, the better. I mean, if you really work with your inner locks, they gradually disappear. So, your personality is a lock. When people pack themselves in something, it means they have some intentions. They divide themselves into their high mind and physical shell. They create some conceptions for themselves. As a result, there are some intentions inside them. It's mental experience. If this experience gets out of you, and you become to feel the connection with some higher power, consequently, step by step, you become a weird person for people around. You gate, your words and such other things destroy more and more. Hard to talk. You become squared. You're hard to tell. Not for you, but other people can't understand you. You know, people who is not in such condition just look at you and can't understand what happened with you. If you want to be among people, you have to be on the ground. At some point I returned filler words in my speech. Like, kinda, you know, well, to pass for your yeah. I need to be like others, because when you're alone, nobody is interested in you. You are completely in some moment of introspection. You can go really crazy in the end. But if you start to move on, using correctly this connection, you can achieve a lot in the future. Can you tell us your story? What the start was in your life? How did you come to it in detail? Maybe you had some key stages? When trouble knocks on the door, you start thinking that something goes wrong. What do you mean? I had a crisis, a real crisis. 23, 24 years old, quite serious. So, when you looked for an enlightenment, right? No, I didn't look for anything at that time. Before or? Before. I had a time when honestly, I never thought I would do something like that. It was like an empty soul for me. I used to drink beer on Fridays, went to parties, you know. I had other interests in my life. I never thought that I would broadcast something, teach someone. Everything was much simpler. I lived on the bottom two chakras, let's say that, so I didn't even live. It seemed that everything was broken inside of me, when I even couldn't chase after my dream. You know the joke? If you can't run, just lay toward your dream. It was my case, it looked like. It was hard to move, and I rested. And in that moment I thought, why? Why me? What an injustice. Roughly speaking, I was dying. I didn't see anything besides dark streets in my 23 years. It was like a claim to myself, you know. Then happened something. Can you add more details? Dark streets you mentioned? What else? It was really awful time. I don't want to even remember that. It was full of, I don't know, the real trash. Just imagine a small town. I grew up among wild rap gangs and something like that. Of course, it leads to an appropriate lifestyle. When the police look at you suspiciously, some group of people look for something. Imagine that you are always in some troubles. It's totally romance in your life, you know, whereas it was a small town. You can't even move somewhere. You can't even go to Moscow because you don't know what to do there. How did you escape? I realized that these thoughts were destructive. I didn't even like any thoughts in my head. I started to ignore them. Get off of me, right? Just shift your attention and it's over. I don't want to play with you. You found out those thoughts lead you to some experiences that you don't like, haven't you? Well, yes, it was very destructive. I saw the result of every single thought was a destruction. I was sick of destroying myself, so to speak. So how is it? Have you been sitting for a day or two maybe? I was sitting in the lane. Were you just sitting in your room driving away these thoughts, right? Yeah, in my closed room. I was sitting and turning away from my thoughts. It seems stupid, but I did it. I felt very bad. Really bad. And it was a hard process. I was given to my soul searching. I really don't know if people are ready to face to themselves. This phenomenon is hard for our mind. So what you can see there, it may really scare you. What did you see? So, to say what? In order to stand some frightened thoughts, really frightened, well, this thing knows it. What a thing. You are, your mind. Your mind knows your weaknesses, what can you worry about, and just plucks at it. And at the same time, you don't even try to escape and think, well, okay. It looked like a black line on the screen. In that moment, I was really scared. In reality, yes. It's one thing when you see some visions, nightmares. You realize that it's like a half sleep and half reality, some kind of nonsense. But this black stripe was in reality. It was frightened. Then I felt some crack in my head. And this strip tore. My reality changed. My world changed. I was frightened and only said, please, God, forgive me. I was wrong. I admit it in every episode. Please left this picture. Were you a believer? Not so much. I didn't expect such speech from myself. Just because when you feel really bad, everybody starts to believe. Not believe, but ask. Help, what happened next? It was shuddered me one more time and then I relieved. Since that moment something happened in my mind. What do you mean? It's like sobriety. So you're sober and understand that your observation gets some kind of clear mind. I don't know. In that moment I was feeling of sobriety for me. A real sobriety. Also I met with guys, looked at them and didn't understand what I was doing next to them. Why didn't I see all this madness and nonsense before? You began to see deeper, didn't you? No, nothing changed, nothing. I just stopped to chase after something. I need something, I have to go somewhere, and something like this. I stopped this flow of thoughts. Is it something like addition, right? I'm not sure. It's just the flow of thoughts that you can control with some emotional basement. This flow makes you to do some things. But at once you lose it. You are sober. Alright, now you're kind of man who has a different vision. Could you look at this situation from now and say what kind of nature owned you at that time? Or did you create it by yourself? I don't think that some nature owned me in that moment. In that moment, it was deep changes inside of me, my sub-personalities. A lot of natures left me because of connection with the source. If you ignore your thoughts, you save a lot of mental energy. This energy is so powerful. It isn't tied to your body too much. Differ from the current energy in my work. What kind of energy do you work? Well, I recover people physiologically. I think that our mental state, physical body and energy are connected. So if you have some physiological disorder, it will be reflected on your inner life, your mental state and your energy shell. You can influence on any structure. If a psychologist recover your mental state, consequently it will be recovered, your physical body and energy shell too. We see some results. What kind of structure do you work with? I see that our energy is more important actually. So do you work with energy? I began with Reiki, if we speak about such things. Then I continued my way in osteopathy. There I achieved some success. After I went on my study in biodynamic centers in this direction, then I started Cosmoenergy, and finally I connected with some power It could be called a high self or something like that. Actually, I don't know what is it. But it gives me much more power, clear mind, and really helps me. It's like a daddy. It's like something cosmic being. Yes? Cosmic mind. Yes. Do you identify this mind? Is it God, egregor, nature, or maybe it's really a high self? If it's God, it's good. But I see that there are a lot of some things. A lot. They seem like one single thing, but they're different anyway. When you connect with it, you say something like God or higher power, but the meaning is, I don't know exactly, but I imagine a child who cries daddy. It's like a daddy, help. So is it like your spiritual father? Yes, something like that. So, returning to the topic of enlightened, it's very interesting to know your opinion, because sometimes I film videos with people who can be called enlightened, and I write the title like enlightened blah blah blah, and then I get a lot of comments where people say that he's not enlightened, and they give some criteria of an enlightened person. So what do you think about it? There are no criteria, it's 100%. That's true. A man can be different. He can bother up to some nervous tics, or some mental disorders. Moreover, you can identify such people according to these signs, because when they connect with a source, it reflects on their external behavior. So an enlightenment is a connection with a higher power, in your opinion. A connection with a source, right? Do you call it source? Yes, I do. But there are many nuances. In reality, it may not be a source, but some of low levels. Accordingly, the information is not appropriate to a necessary level, and you can get something wrong. It's like a connection, but in wrong way. The connection with whom or what, then? There are a lot of natures. You mean cosmic? Right, I mean cosmic natures. They want some attention too. So, how can I distinguish my higher self from natures? Is that possible? No, it's not. Who can do it? So the point is, if you have some authorities and you feel it, this person is authority for you. You can just come to him and ask to look. I don't understand who I am connected to. Maybe it's your imagination. Your mind can do incredible things. Everything can be only in your head, you know. In real life, it's only your imagination. Look, can all authorities distinguish your higher self from natures? No, of course not all of them. There is no guarantee, you know. No one owes anyone, actually. It's okay if you have some results of you or you're mentally and physically healthy. It's real criteria for me. If you stay with a clear mind, without different disorders, you know what I mean, when a man feels connection. At the same time, if your body keeps you on the ground, I mean, you are healthy, I mean, if you get tested in a hospital, your results will be good. It's okay, you are on the right way. How can you scan people? How can you identify whether it's demonic nature or something else? What do you see at all? It depends. If we speak about demonic natures, of course we will check it using help of higher power. You ask and answers come to you. I don't know how to explain it. It's like you ask yourself, but you know that you ask someone higher than yourself. After all, you know the answer. Is it just a knowledge? Yes, you just know it. It's interesting, but when you start to broadcast it to someone, he realizes that it's true. He agrees with you. And there is some confirmation up there. Can you say something about me easily? Are you sure you want to hear that? You don't know what you want until you see it. There can be happen something maybe. Let's start calmly. You have some holes in all of your shells. Firstly, I see your head and the back of your head. You have some tensions in the atlas bone. Tensions, it's hard to relax. I'm sure if you try to do yoga or massages, they usually find your sore spot and begin to massage it. I heard about a correction. Well, yes, a correction. It doesn't work automatically. It's energy control construction, which is negative. It creates an unpleasant spasm in your muscles. Besides, you cannot relax it consciously. Moreover, this construction impacts negatively on your mind. So you realize that you don't know if you were in a state of calm when you feel nothing but quiet. When you keep silent inside of you and your inner voice doesn't talk to you. But when you have such construction, you cannot be calm. Or there is appear something the same, but it's not clear and quiet mind. It's like a mess in your head when you are like a robot. Your actions are unconscious. You look as a fool. This state is different little bit. For example, when you miss your metro station or something like that, it's foolish. Right, it's foolish. It's not a presence here and now. If you are here, you feel a space around you. You see it, you are ready to react. But if you talk nonsense, so probably, what can you recommend? Come to my session. Actually, you know, simply, let's say, these structures are priority in our world. That's why you cannot get rid of it using your mind. So the priority of your mind is less than the priority of that super system that installs this thing on you. Consequently, to get rid of it, you have to ask those global structures who has more priorities of an access level and influence on our toy, you know. Do you really see these powers, priorities? Well, you make me to lie. I cannot tell you that I see, but at the same time I cannot tell you that I don't see anything. Both are not true. It looks like you have one more vision, but it doesn't look like you remember something. And it doesn't look like a screen in front of you. It's a vision which... So when the touch was inside of you, there was an expansion. So the expansion goes on, And thanks to the expansion, you begin to feel that, you lean on it, and you start feeling there are huge things around you, and they have been expanding for a long time. And you're like a tiny bubble compared to them. And huge things means other powers. You feel them too, don't you? Of course, that's why I cannot say that I see them. At the same time, I cannot say that I don't see them. And anyway, in that level, I get knowledge. It's like an imagination. But I'm pretty sure that is true. I'm absolutely sure. It's like an imagination. That's it. Based on it, you begin manipulating and thinking if it's true. Maybe it's my imagination. Did you try to check it? Or were you checked by someone maybe? Of course I checked. When hernias are gone, cysts are gone, some serious diseases are gone. It's not a joke. Arthritis, for instance, and something else, hepatitis, diabetes. It's a serious thing. So doctors work with such illness for a long time. They know how to develop different diseases. Here is bank, everything is differently. What do you do usually? So I'm in that level. Roughly speaking, you're like a developer. You come into a cell and change the information inside. From negative into positive one. You transit your mind into another quality and work there. Right? No, just right now, I'm connected there. I'm always there, always. Always. So, are you here and there at the same time? Okay. What can you say about abundance of channels of the Earth? Natures. What? Natures. Are there something that get really useful knowledge? Or all of them are useless? As for me, our health is more important and sobriety. All the rest things are, you know, you can worship high powers, at the same time go and kill people, or you can cut your head easily, or follow, just because it's transition, you know, because you have to. I didn't face with such information, honestly, so yes, it is. Usually one thing goes right, another one goes differently, and the third one is not appropriate, further worse and worse. In the end, a human does some weird things. It's not a secret that when people are connected, they become weird probably. So there something strange begins. Someone is shaking or something like that, but it's okay, nothing bad. I don't mind, let it shake. I mean, what happens in your head? What will be the next? So a man forgets that he's a human, he cannot balance himself, he cannot close his energy channels. Different shells, he should recover the endocrine system, not to have some weird feelings inside. Do you think that people have to manage these things? I mean, open and close when it's necessary. So how else do? If you don't own yourself, then who? It's clear that both of you exchange some information. But if you don't have any opportunities, let's say, not doing any work, not to be connected right now, to be adequate right now. That's why I don't see and hear anything. There some processes are going, but I'm not paying attention to it. We're speaking now, it's okay. And what about demonic natures? They try to announce their presence. It's okay. I'm feeling it right now. Yes, I do. What do they want? Well, it's kind of a magic attack. So, what can you say about battles? Space wars, for instance. Does it exist? Of course. Who fights with whom? The meaning is simple. Just because you exist, you harm another system. There are two systems. They love each other. It's a real love. But when they, let's say, when they connect unauthorized, they confront each other. It's not quite clear. Could you give some examples? Well, when light appears, darkness goes away. By contrast, if darkness absorbs a space, there is no light. It's simple. If a negative system controls our space, some black forces with their structures and constructions, whoever comes, they grab your mind and try to make you crazy, destroying your energy channels. Do you understand? But when a man who is close to divine powers comes there with a protection and some sacred tools, and that's it. The war begins. They cannot connect to each other. It's impossible. The dark hierarchy wants to install their own rules for a space. The light hierarchy wants to do the same. They're both right. However, the confrontation occurs between two personalities. So the interest of this battle is in monitoring the activities of these characters, you know? It's kind of the Game of Thrones, you know?
Let's connect them and see who will win eventually. Sparks fly everywhere.
So, what about ordinary people? Don't they even know about it? Well, like everyone else, they live and suffer. They have diseases and die in the end. Well, we will die too, like everyone, nothing bad. Okay, how do people choose to come into the white hierarchy? As soon as some thought will be sent to you from anyone above, our thoughts are not created by themselves. Someone like Daddy or Master sends us different thoughts. For example, you think that they have to develop yourself. Usually it happens when something goes wrong in your life. You look for something and try. Usually when you turn out on the bottom. Only in that moment you realize that your way is wrong. You start trying to change something. Do you usually take a book of Karma Yoga? No, it's not. Tantra is another story. It's a separate topic. There are many nuances. But I mean, an alcohol, smoking and other things. As a result, your body gradually destroys. Your mind destroys and anxiety increases. You cannot sleep well. You have metabolic disorders. You realize something goes wrong, that you are dying. But you don't know what to do, because the program has run already. The black hierarchy pulls you to a worse life, you know? So the process is called a search. What do you think? Can we save a neutral side in this situation? No, you can't. Well, if you really develop, you'll be said which of the two sides you are. Is it really everything is dual in this world? In this world may not be so, but in that world it's absolutely like that. You are on one of two sides, black or white. Anyway, you have to stay in this world among people. From what does it all depend on? Do you believe in reincarnation? I don't believe. I know that it really exists. So when a soul incarnates, if it already knows the side, Well, it's possible too. Or does it happen by chance? These things happen too. There are people who are on the black side since their birth.
Some people were born like with the machine gun on the helicopter.
And there are their opposites. Is it people of light? Yes, it is. You can do whatever you want, but they will always smile. You have to work a little harder to lose their temper. Say, what a real difference in tools of white and dark powers. Every side has good tools. Actually, every side has good tools. Every side can fight. It's something else. In a negative system, they can be built some their structures, but they cannot build some human substances, unlike the positive hierarchy. So they can create. The dark side? No. The light one? Yes, it is. Here in the dark side, they cannot create. Only destruction is possible in this system. Either it destroys the destructive or it destroys the creative. Anyway, it destroys. Consequently, there are a lot of black healers who recover people too. They see some damage structure and destroy this destructive structure. Then you feel better. How does the white hierarchy works? In the same way? No, it doesn't. They send this destructive structure back home, but recover a damaged structure. They recollect the little parts of damaged structure into one. It's a complicated process, so you cannot do it by yourself. The positive hierarchy helps you. Have you chosen the light? Yes. Why? It happened. This choice was made many incarnations ago. Do you remember this choice? No, I don't. Do you remember some your past incarnations? Well, I don't remember a full picture, but some pieces of this picture I do remember. There is pleasant and unpleasant moments, especially you see them when you work with your psycho-emotional stories. Working with legs or something else, you remember some episodes. Often when you work with your back, it turns out that you were killed by spear in the back. By friends. So what should you do? Nothing, just watch. In that time you promised to revenge, that's why your body remembered this moment. But now, when you see the whole picture, you can let go old grudges and forgive your offenders. I realized that when people are unbalanced, when you connect without a balance, you cannot come to harmony. So there, for example, when you drink, you decide that you will not sleep, or the moon makes you some weird feelings. For example, when you drink, you decide that you will not sleep, and the moon makes you some weird... Is it connection? No, it's not. Don't think that every single strange action determines a connection. It's wrong. But often I see that it happens because of your unbalanced state, associated with some emotional troubles, or some disorders in your energy. And that's why causes such feelings, and you feel it. Okay, can you share with us how you perceive this abstraction world? How do you navigate there? I even don't try to do it. Why do I need it? I don't choose good or bad side, white or black. You know, earlier I worried about it. On the one hand, a process seems good, You feel some powers in your hand and the whole body. It's like Tantra, you know? Tantra. And suddenly you see an octopus that feeds on man's energy. Do you feel excellent and power? But actually it's a connection. Yes, you feel good, but you're not really powerful. You just generate a lot of energy and some demonic nature feeds on it. Besides, it shares with you something, so you get high more. I saw such things with my own eyes. And at the same time, I see that there is possible to have a correct process of energy transformation, but to tell the truth, the more it's correct, the less you get high, you know. Something like that. The high of another level, totally different. The more you satisfy your physical needs, the less you connect with the divine. In the end, it exhausts you. Consequently, you come to some frustration.
You're trying harder and harder to feel some high.
But nothing else happens.
But there is no more high.
But there is another thing.
When you leave your body in rest,
But you feel something inside, Kundalini or something like that. It doesn't matter. You realize that there is a connection of two divines through your body. Actually, it happens every single second with everyone. It means that the earth and God love each other in reality. On the one hand, when you pack in your personality, I mean some business, family and the same other things, on the other hand, you feel it. It looks like you are with them. Consequently, the feeling of death is inevitably, because you have a strong high, so your personality cannot cope with it. So the high from love of the earth and the heavens, right? The high of the God's love inside you, which is continuous. You said about the powers of the earth and heavens. Is it those hierarchies, light and dark? Yes, it is. The dark hierarchy works for the earth, the light works for the heaven. Actually, there is some light energy on the earth. It's interesting that inside of the negative system there is some positive one, and inside that positive system there is some negative one. Even there is some negative system in the divine hierarchy that is ready to do some dirty work there, roughly speaking. You have to understand that it's okay. If divines need help, they ask the real bad forces. That's why in our real world happen some disgusting things with the permission of the divines. Based on it, many people don't understand why God lets to do such things. But it's okay, it's a right process. However, it seems a bit strange for us. It's quite weird, strange. How does it look like? Is it real war? Sure, look around, people kill each other. What happens there? There is pressure. For what do they do it? What's the purpose? It's simple. They have a specific goal. It's education, so it's a spiritual growth. You get experience. Consequently, you grow spiritually. Actually, about 80% of the energy exchange and spiritual experience you will get in the moment of death. So it's a very important moment. How did you come to this? It's like a knowledge. And when you die, many interesting things happen there. At the same time, the moment of your birth takes 10–15%. All of the rest is our everyday reality, which seems really important for people. You mean that our life is not really important? In terms of energy level, it's not that important. Processes on the Earth are just like an empty sound, compared with the energy processes. Do you remember for what did you incarnate here, the meaning of your life? As for me, it's bullshit, especially such moments when they determine only one way of their life. For example, a man decided to teach people and bring a light to this world. But if he's a driver in reality, what will happen then? There is no doubt, he will lose a lot of energy if he can teach people, if he enjoys this process, and it brings his more energy. It pumps, of course. It will be silly to work as a driver. On the other hand, if you adore driving, but you are told that you have to teach people, it will be silly too. I see that our universe has already made all calculations. I mean, whatever you do, whoever you are, anyway you will run the life program. But it's very important for him to choose a right path of his life. Every one of us has a lot of different ways to develop the script of his life. That's why it's very important to choose the right way. For instance, he can be homeless in Moscow. At the same time, he can become a rock star somewhere. If we look at this moment from the point of view our individuality, it's important to choose a right way. But for our universe, it doesn't matter. So, do you mean that there is a destiny, but it's multivariative? I thought it was not a secret. Many people wonder whether there is a destiny or we can create our reality. You know, what is the difference? There is a destiny, at the same time we create our world. Well, yes, it's true, but people want to know a particular answer. So it's their problem, what they want. In reality, both of these responses are right. It means that there are some choices, at the same time ways are determined. Cannot go somewhere where you really shouldn't go. Nothing will happen to you what shouldn't happen. On the contrary, try to avoid some control points that someone sees and can say when it happens. That's all. Anyway, it will happen whether you like or not. Do you understand? Do you see these control points? I try not to focus on it. When you start watching the possible ways, it's one thing. When you see your ways, you can manage them. On the other hand, when you tell about it to someone else, it can be said that you fix only one way in people's mind. Maybe it can be changed, so it's like a suggestion. No, it's not. You just give them no choice. It can be compared with photon gun experiment, you know? When a gun shoots two holes, a wave forms there when no one sees. So there are a lot of ways. As soon as people come, photons have only one direction. So it's the same things, you know. It's possible that higher powers decide to change something or help you maybe. But if you've seen, you determined the only one way for yourself. That's why I don't want to see and determine a destiny of people. Maybe it will be better something in the future, right? Yes, it can be. What if a hopeless man comes to you, complains a lot and asks for help? What will you do? He should be cleaned. Of course. There are no hopeless people. Probably their problems are associated with some negative systems. Actually, people are on the light side, have some kindness and love inside. They are positive. They don't think about some bad things in their life. It's the right position of life. Everything's fine in reality. But when some negative powers attack him, a man loses this balance inside. Gradually, he also loses some divine connection. That's why he feels bad. He feels not convenient. So when you destroy this bad connection, a man feels better himself, and his negative thoughts go away. Moreover, he feels some kind of harmony inside.
In one moment, you come to the feeling of presence. It's harmonic feeling.
Being here, all pains go away too. By the way, usually it's an internal pain. Look, there is a point of view that when people get rid of some natures, they do not remove the cause of the problem. That's why people return to an initial state. What do you think about it? Actually, there are two types of problems. The first one is internal psycho-emotional locks, which create some negative sub-personalities. As a result, some imbalance appears. It's a real internal problem. But if we speak about a birth, it's a real psycho-emotional lock. Later, there are a lot of other locks. Everybody has some locks. Each of all locks connect with some episodes in your life. For example, you were confused, what happened around your lock would be in your head. If you were suppressed, the lock would be somewhere below. Anyway, the meaning is a repetition of this again and again. Anyway, you have some offenses to your mom or dad. Despite you've forgiven for many times, you've been born again many times, you've passed all classes, etc. and so forth. But this pain has left with you. That's why we may conclude that it's not an internal problem, but there is something adds to this problem from outside. Consequently, you cannot let this problem go. Even if you meditate or think how to cope with it, you have no powers of mind to solve this problem, because this negative system has more priorities compared with yours. It's like a god. So the system realizes that the law in your life. So a negative system works like that. Despite the actions described, such systems can look beautiful, you know. As for me, I suppose that you have to try to stay away from them. If it's an internal problem, we can rid of it, right? Yes, we can cope with it. Doing yoga or some meditations, perhaps. It will help you fastly. If it's external problem, you can try to cope with it by yourself. Moreover, you can feel some changes inside. But in the end, some tensions stay with you anyway. When a person is more sensitive, has he some damages? Is there any way to distinguish an internal problem from an external one? Yes, there is. How? I just ask a question to someone above, and I get a response. Can people determine themselves? Unfortunately, no, they can't. There are some common things which we can describe, but you cannot distinguish what kind of problems you have, external or internal.
So, you cannot delimit, is it demonic nature gives pressure on you, or is it your problem?
Unfortunately, I cannot understand how to do it without connection with the higher powers. I don't know, it's impossible now for ordinary people. Do you teach how to connect with them? Sure. How much time do you need to achieve this connection? Well, a lot depends on your past incarnations. Some practices, yes, some practices of your last life. Anyway, even though your incarnation is on a low level, I can see that you practice Reiki or Cosmoenergy, so you are constantly under attacks. You work nearby, but in my turn, I'm clean this energy, and the light hierarchy starts to work with you, cleans you through my request, right? So this process gives you a powerful development and recovery of your soul, especially when God looks at you. You get a huge capacity compared with, let's say, when you don't even guess that someone can help you. These divine powers force you to change yourself. Speaking about thoughts, I have to repeat that they cannot appear automatically from nowhere. They come to us from the hierarchy, you know? It looks like they direct you and show you the way. If you don't even do and don't understand anything in this case, so nobody will help you if you think that you can cope with problems yourself. Actually, they are really strict. Those? Yes, they are, in many processes. Maybe they show their love, but it seems to us very serious experiences. Our universe is very generous to you, that it gives you one more chance, a new body to try again, otherwise you lost the game. You know what I mean.
And they will play with you until you will lose all of your money.
Who's the head? I'm excited myself, but I realize that such process is impossible without some super system,
which digests all of this information.
You know, when you connect with them, you understand that it's all true, everything in the right place. Do you understand correctly? There are some powers behind people that lead them. Yes. So do they want people to perform some task? Well, it's like a computer game, you know? It's like your Sims in this game. So who plays in that game? You play. Who is that, guys? Well, it's like I can say that it's me. I play that game and my Sims is me. But it's not true. It looks like you've been made of the same substance in order to get an experience on the earth and then come back to them, you know? As soon as you establish your internal processes, you feel that you are on the right way. The structure is unique and interesting. It creates itself and continue to build. That's why there is connection between you and the higher powers. There will be a place for it, for this energy. Eventually you develop more and more. What does the structure mean? It's your soul. So is this what you identify with yourself, right? At first. Well, you can say I'm soul, I'm body, I'm mind. Anyway, you will be right. On vice versa, if you say, I mean, something specific, It will be a lie. You are not something specific. You can be here at the same time, to be in some other place, in somewhere else. It's reality. I don't know how to say differently. This morning we had breakfast with guys. I watched at them and it seemed to me that we were like a something unit. Me, it's all of us. That's it, and you don't understand where you end. That was a connection with that structure. Later you don't understand how it works, but you shouldn't focus on it. It's inadequate. There is a fast growth of your internal ego, and you consider yourself, your thoughts are weird. It's up to you to think that you are not in your body, or somewhere you don't understand what is going on in your mind. I suppose it's a little bit an enlightened thing. Yes, it is. It's a little bit crazy. So a man who thinks that he has a lot of personalities inside is schizophrenia. You said about the highest self, you have to close channels. You have to control it. I suppose if you cannot pack yourself, most likely you will lose your mind. Later they will refuse you. They don't need weak people.
You're not human anymore, you're nobody.
Well, what about the dark side? What kind of interests do they have? I cannot say exactly, because I don't have deep connection with them. The one thing I can say,
Almost everything is predetermined.
there is no some creative process at all. Are there no alternative ways? Very little. Maybe there are some ways, but I don't exactly know. Everything is determined. This way and only. As far as I know, they have only one script for your way of life. In general, they tend to calculate. On the other hand, you've said that there is a bank too in the divines, investment. So if you are not interested in them, they will refuse you, right? C'est la vie. It's life. Well, so funny little world. Yes, but I admit that it can be only my imagination.
And you think that it's nonsense?
Who knows the truth? How to determine is it true or not? I check it based on my own experience of body healing. When I was 23 years old, my kidneys were failing, liver. I had headache, my legs hurt, constantly dizziness, that I couldn't sit. The whole I had a sick body, I was exhausted. Now I feel excellent myself. I can do everything. Can you do everything? Well, I feel good on a physical level. Do they command you or orders? No, God forbids. So you can do whatever you want, right? If they like, it's okay. If don't, they lead you another way, right? Well, when I do something wrong, I feel it. Your freedom will be in the first place, right? Right, but when you do something wrong, you can be pushed. You realize that your side shows you a way.
And in one moment, you see that people give you some signs.
You have to be careful on the turns. There is more light here, do you see? Do you organize some satsang? No. Training courses. Sure, I do. We do it regularly. Drink tea? People come and we talk about some serious classes. It's crap. The more serious people have, the more likely they can go crazy. I mean that if a man has a request, he wants to come to himself. Okay, nobody minds. I don't mind, you can come to yourself, to me. What if your mind closes? Why not? Let's open it. How do you share with the skill of clairvoyance? How does it happen? Well, let's say I don't pass this skill. I cannot promise that you will see. It doesn't work like this. I can give some techniques and tools that will really help to develop these skills. You know, there is a difference when it comes to you in one moment and you don't understand what it is. You are not just ready. And when you start to work step by step with it, firstly you see some warm air around a man. Then you can see some colors like a rainbow, some construction, you know? It's a gradual process. And later you will see the whole picture, some field around a man, but it will disappear quickly anyway. Because you don't have enough energy, your gun doesn't work correctly. What a gun? Well, a vision, yes it is. Later you will see clearly. It's like a gun, a ray of consciousness. If you see something like that, I can say that you have some perception of the outside world through the window of your sixth energy center. If it's bigger, a man sees absolutely for sure. So you see that a man sees and you become clear vision. In Ubud, in this region, everybody says that there are a lot of people who have a clear vision. Is it true or not? I'll refrain. I don't wanna offend anyone. Here is a good energy. Here you can quickly feel the energy yourself. You constantly connect with some natures here.
It develops your astral possibilities.
So you will open your mind here faster than if you live in somewhere else. In Moscow, for an instance. However, there are many interesting places, including a metro, where some processes happens too, but the level is not like here, and these processes are more pressing. Anyway, it can happen in any place. So Bali is an appropriate place for such practices. It's a real nice place. That's why you came, not because of it, but I'm satisfied. There is a good nature, atmosphere and a vibe in general. And everything is mixing and becoming in some beautiful. As soon as I've come here, I feel like I'm at home, you know? I just don't want to go back. It's a natural feeling when you are in a balance on your energy.
And you build your inner world.
As soon as your chakras are full, the work of your center channel and shells are operate well, you feel good everywhere. As soon as you lose this balance of your mind, there is some disbalance, you have some tenses. What if people want to learn from you? Is it possible? Maybe you have some online classes? Yes, I have classes. I can teach Reiki, how to meditate correctly. Moreover, I have many students who have only one initiation, but they already have their own vision and perception, you know? Moreover, at first sight, I cannot think that he can see. When you test him, he can say everything you need without any problem. And they can see some changes in chakras, which one dominates. So they diagnose well after my classes. How many classes? There is a course already. I've been teaching for a long time such trainings. Honestly, here I relaxed a little bit. That's why I left people who stayed in Moscow. But I'm ready anyway. Okay, we'll put a link below on your classes. When there will be enough people, you will conduct classes. Perfect. You can do the same with your cleansing, right? Yes, but it will be better to work individually. I suppose that group cleanings are not positive process. The individual one will be better. Yes, it's a healing session. So you sign up for a consultation, we set up the time, we're connecting to each other. When I start working with him, after all I write him and he leaves a feedback, you know? To tell the truth, I stopped copying and collecting these feedbacks. I stopped worrying about it. The word of mouth works, right? Sure. How long does it take a session? About 40 minutes. So fast. Well, it can be faster, but now I try working better and deeper with processes of internal structures. I watch some changes of each organ and what I can do with it. Well, you sign up for a session, we set up the time, I work with you, then I write everything I've seen. I say everything. What kind of symptoms can appear, what to prepare. You have to be ready to the brightness in your life. But it doesn't mean that I'll remove something and some processes will start. Or some accidents will begin inside of you. Of course, it can be, especially if you have a lot of some karmic stories and you do some careless action, then there are begin such processes. But such people usually know about it and ready for it. As for people who work with a mind and some internal structures, but when they stop and can no longer work independently, I can help to continue these positive changes. They will feel better and better. Your growth and development will go on. You've said about karma, haven't you? What does it mean? Where is it? It's a separate, big topic. Simply put, karma is debts. A man had to do some... To whom? To divines, to himself, his generation, for his growth and development. He had to choose one of the best way of his life, where he would feel a burst of energy. That all happened during this energy exchange, but there was some bypass, and it's invisible. That's why you cannot turn there. It's your ego. When everybody helps you and shows you a way, sends you signs, the whole world gives some tips. You have to go that way. But because of your stubbornness, you don't pay your karmic debts and they transmit to the next life. The highest powers note these debts on your bill. If they see that you cannot pay the debt, they will be transmitted to your karma for the next life. When you come to the next life, you have an old baggage from the past life. Look, I heard that there are karma of the Earth and karma of some other planets. So when your soul incarnates, you get involved in this game. And in order to reincarnate in other planets, he has to finish all business in your current life. What is this? Actually, there are so many things. It's a separate topic. We have to meet again and discuss it. All of these ways of a destiny, possibilities and karmic works really exist. There are a lot of interesting things in Tibetan Buddhism, such as the 100-syllable Vahasattva mantra. It works excellent. And a lot of other practices, which clean some bodies that carry loads, you know. They can be cleaned. But there are some others, more progressive tools to clean such things, for people who understand that it's necessary to do it. Well, you understand how to work different bodies, practices, techniques, systems. So, can you say something about some common popular things? Do they work or not? I can tell about everything. For example, the Osho's meditation, Tantra, a nice thing, Theta healing, all of them are good. The only one thing is a master. Actually giving a practice of common name, Cosmoenergy, for example. So you can come to a group of Cosmoenergy, where you meet a big, fat man. So you see that he is sick. He needs a help too. At the same time, he wants to teach you something and even recover you. I want to say that it's very important to choose a good master. He is a guide between you, highest powers. However, a master can be a guide of the positive hierarchy, but also he can be a guide of the negative hierarchy. At the same time, it will be Reiki, you know? Sources can be different. But how to determine? No way. How can you see if you don't have a vision, you know? So we can disclose and develop, can't we? Just believe in yourself, pay more attention to details, don't believe to inadequate people. Nowadays many people think that if a man shakes from some connection, it won't be a such guarantee that this man can help them. It looks interesting, but what about your students? Don't they do like that? No, they don't. You know, there are some processes in Cosmoenergy, for an instance, when you create some connections which put some pressure on your mind. In that moment you get vibrations you didn't even know before. Of course, you may feel bad. Your mind is under pressure. Of course. Then you continue to work with it. Your energy potential increases. Consequently, all of your internal locks start to move. If your situation is not so bad, the process will be hard. In the worst situation, you can feel the worst symptoms. It's reality. It's like an airboat. When you start inflating it, but there are heavy stones in it. This boat can tear. It can be with people too. You have to be really careful. What do you think about sacral geometry? Do you hear something about the book Valentin? Yes, I read it. The Flower of Life? It's a nice book. He wrote that angels came to him and described how he hanged with them. Angels came to me too, and I refused to hang with them. What did you do? There are some frequencies in cosmoenergy which let you to determine what kind of nature you meet. And this nature pretends to be someone else. If this nature pretends to be someone else, I'll see it anyway. How do you check it? Well, you have to burn them, and you can see that. If we speak about the divine hierarchy, gods like Perun, Ulgen, Asar, and so on, they don't care whether you fire them or not. Nobody will confuse though, because it's a completely different level. There is no even some danger, nothing. What do you think about nutrition?
Now the most popular thing in this topic is raw foods.
Vegetarianism, mono-raw, and others. Should be raw to clean our mind and elevate your spirit above the body. Honestly, I'm afraid to touch this topic. But what if you don't afraid? I eat meat. At the same time, I have a good vision. Moreover, I help people to heal their body. So that approves, right? Moreover, I know many real raw people
who eat raw food, and I heal them. And not only one. I know what disorders can be. For example, there is one case. I just want to say one thing. My dear friends, just be careful and think twice. Don't be hurry and don't make that fast transition from eating meat to something else, and just in one moment you are prana eater or raw eater at least, or I don't eat anything. Hunger. It's also on peak of popularity now. Or healing hunger.
I don't argue, but I want to stress it's very important to choose a highly qualified master, a man who guides you, who monitors the situation inside you. Now people watch on YouTube videos how to become raw eater in 3 days. It's 80% that you will harm to yourself. In addition, nowadays such information is like a spam. People write books, diaries of a raw eater. There are a lot of information about it. It accumulates and just goes everywhere. Well, I repeat again, I cured some raw eater. We drank tea, ate buckwheat with meat. Well, no, but anyway. I said him, look, you're a raw eater. I drank tea with prana eaters. They said that was okay, it's just... I may eat little bit, though. You know, I have been always thinking that if you are on the way of development, your stomach should be like a stove. It doesn't matter what you eat, your stomach will burn it. It shouldn't be like a raw eater eats a piece of cake and poisons himself. It's ridiculous. Well, for sure, there is internal organs work differently. Basically, it's a shock for your body. Adrenaline and different endorphins begin to enter the blood. It's just a chemistry. It's not some cleansing of energy. It's just chemistry. Your body is in shock. You feel high in this condition. There is a mojo inside. By the way, when I had been eating raw food for 3 months, the energy was ups and down. Firstly, I wanted to do something a lot, but in 5-10 minutes I was so tired. Well, it can be explained. It can be explained from the Vedic point of view, the 5 elements point of view, the Chinese medicine point of view, and so on. But we miss one general moment. If you don't have some holes in your shell, some disorders and something like that, all of these practices may give you positive results. Maybe you will understand faster that such practices are not very important. Excellent yourself without such restrictions. You will see the way of your development. You know, I see many people who want to be raw, breatharian and so on. If you have been eating at McDonald's for years, it has really some negative processes inside. There is no doubt what you eat is very important in reality, but the master is more important. He follows you, reads you, understands you, and what kind of processes happen with you. Where is the heat and cold, some meridians, and so on. So you mean that all teachings are individual? For sure. That's why you shouldn't do some practices yourself. It's silly and most likely you will harm your body. My friends. There are some drugs such as cocaine and so on. They also give you some energy. This is shock. You are welcome. Don't torture yourself. It's like a diet. And that's why I don't really understand why people want to refuse from some food, but I mean healthy food. Well, okay, cleansing is a nice thing for you. Just think about your internal organs, what is strain on your kidneys, and what happens with your body at all. I believe that an energy balance gives you more positive effect and result for your mind and body, just because they are connected. Your body, mind, and energy shell. I mean, your soul is multi-layered. It includes all of these bodies. You know, they transform your energy. They're some kind of filter for your soul. That's all serious things. It's very important. If you don't set it up at the very beginning and decide to refuse from everything, but how can he see that? It doesn't work. You will see by yourself. There are many information that people don't eat meat because they don't want to have some karmic relationship with animals. It's just weird, you know? Well, okay, but why do we have a gallbladder and bile ducts? It's interesting. For what do we need it? For what? Bile breaks down animal protein. There is no doubt. We have it in order to break down animal protein. It's not like... Okay, what about a karma and love to the animals then? These kind of things. Well, it's a strange question. When, let's say, when people kill each other, it's okay. Tanks, airplanes, bombs, and so on are used against others. People think it's okay. But poor animals suffer in farms. There is a food chain, you know, it's a fact of our life. Your immune system kills bacteria. Poor bacteria. What do you think about it? It kills them. Poor bacteria. But they want to live too. Besides, there are macro world, different worms, etc. I don't even want to say. So if our organism didn't kill them, what would happen then? How would it look like? Don't you think about it? And here there are poor animals. Well, I got it. Can we change our topic at all? For sure. What do you think about other worlds and planets? Do you see them? What is it? How do they look like? Well, I don't see and don't perceive. I have an opportunity to go there, but I have enough business here. Besides, I don't have the time. When I rest, I see some pictures. Earlier, I saw a golden light. Now it's a white-blue light. I feel good. I feel very good. I feel I'm on the right way. All of this running, it doesn't matter. Here or there. Anyway, you feel some emotions. You're in some process. You are involved in something. Without it, I have enough adventures here. I ask people, you work with the people. You free them from some cosmic natures. So don't you see who there is? No, I don't like to do it. Often such natures are disgusting for me, that's why I don't want to watch them too long. I feel they have a bad energy. That's why I want to get rid of it faster. I don't want to go deeper in it, to stay in my clean shell. I understand that such natures want to come here, they're allowed to be here. They want to get some energy from us. But it's their problems. I don't want to help them. I suppose I'm on the right way. My comrade told me that such structures are connected with the bigger structures. There are a lot of different branches. To tell the truth, if they catch you once, later it will be difficult to escape. In this condition, you realize that you are not alone. Someone lives with you inside. So when you see inside a man, you get something from them too, right? Sure, it's crazy. That's why I don't want to engage in dialogue. I don't see the point. If you can remove a breakdown, you ask the divines. After they answer, that I have to do it. The energy I'll spend on a man, I'll be returned later, because he will feel happy. So this positive energy returns us in the end. That's why pointless to find out where it comes from. It sounds like our monetary system was created by divine's principles. Well, I don't really think so. The monetary system has a lot of negative moments compared with divine structure. They have to do something. No one helps you but make you work. Yes, right. So it's different things. That's why we shouldn't compare these two systems. Of course, nothing happens by the accident. If someone gives you something, he will ask to return back. It's our reality. It's a balance of life, you know? If someone gives you something without asking in return, you have to be careful. Why? Is there some debt from the past life? For sure. Maybe it's not a debt from the past life, it can be that people give you something, but you give them away something, but speaking it only in their head, you know? And when you agree later, you will have to return it anyway. It's simpler to do with money. When you give money, you mentally asking something. It's the easiest way. Anyway, you will owe. You will be connected, that's why you collect debts.
Did you get it? And once you receive money from someone, someone can leave a message with bad energy inside and you will not realize that it's bad.
I got it. So, is it linked, right? Yes, for sure. Do you have some accident prevention as you are healer. Well, things happen. So I heard a lot of stories when a healer began to work. He usually grabbed all different things. Yes, it was in my practice too. I was grabbing, I was dying and so on. Such work is always kind of challenge for you. It's your growth. So if you work with something which you know how to work, you won't develop. You're working that you are comfortable with. But when you meet something difficult and dangerous, the divines help you to cope with it anyway. They show you the way or give you more powers. Look, I have an idea. What if we suggest to our audience to ask you some questions? If there are enough questions, we can shoot one more video where you will be asked these questions. It's a good idea. Guys, ask your questions, go for it. I'm happy to share some information because I have something to say. I have my own opinion, my own practice, results. Well, I don't base on someone's experience, blah blah blah. I can show you and justify you what, why and how. If you have a vision, you will see. If you don't have a vision, just see from where you look. What do you think if we shoot a video that I'll share? You give some feedback. Yes, for sure, it will be excellent. So I think it will be interesting. Yes, for sure. We will do it. I'll be only happy. So there are a lot of information that is salt is very harmful for us. That's why there are many people who exclude salt from their diet. What do you think about it? I don't exclude any food, but at the same time I don't salt anything.
So I don't have something like, oh, the soup is not salted, I have to salt it anyway.
It's not just necessary for me. I feel a real taste of food. So when we drink tea, we don't add sugar there.
I don't feel that I need it. Oh, I need a sugar.
I just don't need salt or sugar. And at the same time, if I buy some cake or something spicy, I won't suffer from it. So you don't worry about it, but try not to eat it. No, I don't have some addiction to salt. I don't wanna salt anything. I consider that this desire appears when you have some internal disorders. You have to check your pancreas or spleen. So salt is a water structure and your spleen manages a water structure. We have to look what's wrong with your body. That's for sure. If you eat a lot of salt, it means that something is wrong with you. It's possible that some creature is inside you. There are a lot of them, these natures around us. As soon as you lose a balance, they add to you. Later you have a lot of questions, how and why, but you cannot do anything with that, how it happened. However, sometimes a church can help you. After visiting a church, you feel way more better. Or you can come to a place of power. You sit there and fill with energy. The omens work too. They guided me. These all places are good for us. There are a lot of energy in such places where we can charge our bodies. I don't see anything something unusual. This process is not supernatural, you know? As soon as people work with the energy, they understand who they are and how their energy exchange increases. Roughly speaking, I had JPRS connection. Later it turned out to 3G or 4G. You have a lot of information. It's okay if you don't understand it consciously, but you feel that you are full of energy. You cannot confuse this condition with anything.
You can see at the same time how the stream flows.
Later you have to learn to manipulate it. If you can close and open channels, you have some leverage in the world of abstractions where you can move. That's the key. What about salt? Well,
I think it's nonsense.
any fanatism is weird.
This topic is quite strange, anyway.
Our nutrition is really important. If you eat from morning till the night, it doesn't matter what it will be, salads or something else. Something is wrong with you anyway. I have the last question. What is the main secret for you now? A death. Why? Well, when you open this door, it's interesting, especially when you are on the other side, faced with yourself.
It's like you faced with yourself right in the doorway.
Wow. It's more interesting, but you know that there is something else behind it. Here I understand more or less everything. I got it. Thank you so much. It was very interesting conversation. If you enjoyed this video, give a like. Thanks for watching, subscribe on our channel and turn notifications on. And thank you so much, Valentin. I'm very glad. Thank you all.
The best things in this world are love and beauty. Subscribe, thumbs up, and click the bell if you don't want to miss new videos. Everything is light. Om.